You're on.
My name is Matt Thompson, and this is the Iron Chef. No, wait, wrong business. This is the Iron Terrain tip. We're gonna call these actually our hobby quick tips. We're gonna start posting these little tips as we're working on projects here in the studio. So today, if you'll just point down here, we have Realm of Battle. So this Realm of Battle is notorious for letting models tip over. It's a really good solid board. You know, let's show you guys off what it looks like underneath. As you can see, that's some pretty solid molded plastic. These retail for $300 through Games Workshop. They've also released the new Cityscape ones. How you go about basing one of these is kind of interesting. First, what I like to do is I like to add a little bit more detail. So I take these talus rocks and I put them down into like the crevices, anywhere it would seem like rocks would gather. I also put a little bit out here and out here. And the reason I do that is the sculpted and molded features to the Realm of Battle look really good, but they look even better once you do those little detailings. So, next step, you want to have some little cheap brush. This is a series of painting brushes for just wall painting that I got from the dollar store, a pack of like 4 of them for $1. You need to get cheap brushes because these things will get ruined eventually with this process. Then you get yourself some Elmer's glue. We've just gone ahead and poured some right here. You see we've already been using it a little bit. So then you also, the last thing you get, a ton of sand. Now, for that sand, you're gonna need one of these. This is a sifter that I've made. All I've taken is I've taken a little cup, you know, just whatever cup you feel comfortable with, and you get some of this, what's it called? The stuff you put, screen door screening, and you get 2 of those, and I've hot glued it around it to create sort of a sifter. And you make sure it's crossed against each other when you do that. And that way, you can take this and the sand. You want to get mixed sand, sort of like not play sand, because play sand will look very flat and uneven when you're done, and it clumps really hard. You want this mixed sand that has like little bits of various grits in it. So you see like right here where we've got some large grit that we dumped out from having done a previous one. And the reason you do that is so when you do this, you get all the fine grit, but it doesn't completely, it mostly gets rid of the big grit, like the really big ones that'll stand out that you don't want a ton of. If you want some of that, you can also, and I'll show you this one real quick. You can also do this. This is where I've taken and dumped out a bunch of my big grit, and some fine grit gets into it as well. But that way, if I do want to take and apply it to areas after the fact, I can sprinkle it on here, and that way I have that off to the side. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this started. First, you want to also wet your brush first. This helps the glue flow a little bit. You don't want it to be too wet because it's still got to stick. When you take your glue, and you just start lathering it on there. Now for these flat areas, it's less important how you put it on, because you want it on there really thick so that it, you know, the sand will grab to it. But it's less important how much glue you put on as to how much you shake on. All right, so we've got that there, and we're going to start the shake. So you just want to kind of take your time with it. You don't want to go all the way to the glue edge. I got a little too close right there, as you can see. Now, I'm going all the way to the edge on this because, you know, this is a Realm of Battle, so you're going to have connection points. I'm doing them really solidly around here, and I'm kind of varying it throughout here. You're going to get various forms of grit throughout the area, and then once you've done that initial shake, and you have to do it in these sections. The glue will dry on you too fast, and it'll look really patchy if you do it otherwise. Now, around these crevices right here, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how is it gonna just, isn't it just gonna fill up all the crevices? Not entirely. It's like I was saying, it's dependent on how you shake the shaker with the sand. So we're gonna go through here. I'm gonna start over here, get the big ones out right there, and then I'm just kind of tapering off a bit here. I'm kind of going a little slower over here, and it's going to cover a bit, but when we tap it off, you will see that it does not cover too tremendously. Now, set that there. And we're going to tap this off a little bit. Now you will have to go back more than likely, and you will have to fill areas. Like there's some spots over here that I'll have to fill. You want to do that after you let it dry. You can see that yes, it has filled here a little bit. So we will just kind of touch that up a little with our fingers just to kind of move it around. In this case, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to completely get this brush undone. I'm just going to tap in here. Kind of dilute it down a little bit. And I'm only really doing that along the crevices. You could also just leave it like this and it'll still show up pretty good when you dry brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to redo it slightly, and it's moved it around a little bit. And then that way when I go back to redo it slightly, I can just touch it up with a little hand brush, doing the same overall technique but on a smaller scale. So there's a way that you go about basing your Realm of Battle. If you just take your time with it, it'll look amazing. And stay tuned for more of these quick tips. We'll probably be putting a few of these up every couple days, just as we find things that you guys might find interesting. Thanks for watching.